An Open Heart by the Dalai Lama. We're in chapter called Compassion, and we're in the Cultivating Equanimity. I'm trying to get rid of my cat, but she won't go. It'd be great if you could just sit on your chair, please. Another way of cultivating equanimity. We're on page 113. At the bottom, last paragraph. Another way of cultivating equanimity and transcending our feelings of partiality and discrimination is to reflect upon how we are all equal in our aspirations to be happy and overcome suffering. Additionally, we all feel that we have a basic right to fulfill this aspiration. How do we justify this right? Very simply, it is part of our fundamental nature. I am not unique. I have no special privilege. You are not unique, nor do you hold any special privilege. My aspiration to be happy and overcome suffering is a part of my fundamental nature, as it is part of yours. Amma, you are doing my head in right now. If this is so, then just as we do, all others have the right to be happy. Just as we do, all the others have right to be happy and overcome suffering, simply because they share this fundamental nature. It is on the basis of this equality that we develop equanimity towards all. In our meditation, we must work at cultivating the attitude that, just as I myself have the desire to be happy and overcome suffering, so do others. And just as I have the natural right to fulfill this aspiration, so do all others. We should repeat this thought as we meditate and as we go about our lives until it sinks deep into our awareness. There is one last consideration. As human beings, our well-being is very much dependent on that of others, and our very survival is a result of the contributions made by many, many beings. Our birth is dependent upon our parents. Then we need their care and affection for a number of years. Our livelihood, our dwelling, our sustenance, even our success and fame, are the result of contributions made by innumerable fellow human beings, whether directly or indirectly. Countless others are involved in our survival, not to mention our happiness. It is profound to sit down and just try and think about how many humans, animals, just living beings are a part of our just being on earth, just being here, just being alive. If we extend this line of reasoning beyond the confines of a single lifetime, I've never done that before, so all the people, imagining all the people that have helped me in this lifetime, or just kept me alive at least, and then you magnify that across potentially lifetimes, we can imagine that throughout our previous lives, in fact, since time without beginning, countless others have made innumerable contributions to our welfare. We conclude, what grounds have I to discriminate? How can I be close to some and hostile to others? I must rise above all feelings of partiality and discrimination. I must be of benefit to all equally. Thich Nhat Hanh has got a really good poem about the concept of past lives, and in it he basically points out that if we have lived innumerable past lives, one after the other, since beginning this time, then we have been every role in reality. The good guy, the bad guy, the victim, the perpetrator. We've been everything. And with that in mind, we can sit humbly before, all alive beings at this point in our growth. And we can see all these living beings and think, because I've been alive since beginning this time, then I have been all of you. And you can get like a big humility from thinking about it in that way. Meditation for equanimity. How do we train our minds to perceive the essential quality of all living beings? It is best to cultivate the feeling of equanimity by first focusing on relatives, strangers or acquaintances, for those for whom you have no strong feeling one way or the other. From there you should meditate impartially, moving on to friends and then enemies. Upon achieving an impartial attitude towards all sentient beings, you should meditate on the love, on the wish that they find happiness they seek. The seed of compassion will grow if you plant it in fertile soil, a consciousness moistened with love. Then you have watered your mind with love. When you have watered your mind with love, you can begin to meditate upon compassion. Compassion here is simply the wish that all sentient beings be free from suffering. What's the time? 10. What I will say about this is, how do you generate love for your enemies who you feel probably deserve a pretty shit time? And there is a case to say that we don't experience understanding for other living beings unless we've experienced pain ourselves. So the natural wish for your enemy to experience the pain that you've experienced because of them is understandable. But if you look at this from a lifetime's point of view, that person, if they're not looking towards being a better person, a kinder person, a more enlightened person, then they're going to stay ignorant and hurting people for lifetimes after lifetimes. So if you can't find a reason in this life to give this person compassion, if you pull out and look at it from a lifetime's point of view, you think this being is basically wading around in their own shit, and they are going to be wading around like that until they click on. And when are they going to click on? You know, at the moment, it's not going to be this life, is it? Because they're just self-absorbed or whatever. So we're now reading Bodhicitta, chapter 10. We'll start it. Page 119. We have spoken a great deal about compassion and equanimity, and what it means to cultivate these qualities in our everyday lives. When we have developed our sense of compassion to the point where we feel responsible for all beings, we are motivated to perfect our ability to serve them. Buddhists call the aspiration to attain such a state bodhicitta, and one who has achieved it a bodhisattva. There are two methods for bringing about this attitude. One, called the sevenfold cause and effect method, hinges on viewing all beings as having been our mother in the past. In the other, exchanging self for others, we view all others as we do ourselves. Both methods are considered practices of the method or vast path. The sevenfold cause and effect method. If we have been reborn time after time, it is evident that we have needed many mothers to give birth to us. It should be mentioned that our births have not been limited to the planet Earth. According to Buddhist view, we have been going through the cycle of life and death for as far longer than our planet has existed. All this cosmos stuff I don't really understand with Buddhism. I'm not sure about it. However, as a method to stretch my mind and pull me away from like this little fixation of this life, you know, pull me out of it, see a big picture and help me understand some of the larger concepts, then I find the lifetimes ideas are a good idea, and I find them useful. Our past lives are therefore infinite. Oh look, he's going to talk about it. As are the beings who have given birth to us. Thus, the first cause bringing about bodhicitta is the recognition that all beings have been our mother. This can be contentious because not all mothers are nice. And it can feel, if your mum's not been a nice person to you, has neglected you or whatever, it can be difficult to see this point of view because you fundamentally are missing some of the subtleties, because you know you are, because your mum wasn't particularly helpful. But So what they tell you is, I'll just see it as like you wouldn't have this life unless your mum gave her body for you, and see that as a kindness. But I would say, if we're looking at this from a lifetime's point of view, don't focus on this mother. You know, focus on the one that was a good mother, even if you make it up, like, and you look around you and you see how other people are, you know, supported and given money, and their mums are, you know, proud of them and things like that. So you look to see that in other people's parents. It doesn't have to be just from yours. Lucky though if you can use yours. So we'll stop there.